This is a kickoff video for a series that I'm putting together focused on managing longleaf pine stands towards red-cockaded woodpecker habitat in the Sandhills region of North Carolina. So I wanted to start off this video series by bringing you to very high quality foraging habitat for the federally endangered red-cockaded woodpecker. This is a 360 video, so I would encourage you to kind of look around as I talk through some of this stuff. You can follow me over here and see that you can kind of look up, look down, look around, and that'll help you get a sense of what we have to work with out here. But red-cockaded woodpecker, while there are a number of other species that really do benefit and prefer this kind of open woodland comprised mostly of longleaf pine on these sandhill sites, red-cockaded woodpecker is pretty much the one that drives the conversation here. Not that things like Bachman sparrow and pine snake are not important, but RCW really has kind of driven a lot of what we do down here. For that reason, I want to make a video series about it. So if you take a look around, there's a couple of different things that help this qualify as high-quality foraging habitat. The first one being the overstory. If we take a look, this is probably the most obvious piece out here. To be considered high-quality foraging habitat, really managers need to maintain a minimum of about 40 square feet of basal area per acre comprised of large diameter southern pine trees, southern yellow pine trees. Now, I say southern yellow pine, I don't want to say just longleaf, because in reality the red-cockaded woodpecker will also nest just fine in loblolly pine, slash pine. We have it in pond pine in some areas, and I've also seen it nesting in shortleaf pine. So if it's one of these southern yellow pine species, it can survive in there. And maintaining that kind of open woodland structure comprised of large diameter trees is what they're looking for. So the lower threshold is 40 square feet per acre. There's also kind of an upper threshold, but there's no numeric value currently assigned to that, at least that I'm aware of. It's more of a question of you want to have that open structure made up of large trees, but you don't want so many of them that they start to produce enough shade that you impact the next portion of the habitat scoring, which, let's look down, would be the ground cover layer. So there's a lot of wiregrass in this stand. If you follow me around here, you can see we have, pretty adequate coverage all the way around. Really what we're going for when we're trying to classify something as high quality foraging habitat is you need a minimum of 40% ground cover comprised of those, kind of native wiregrasses and other herbaceous vegetation. We definitely have that in this stand, so we're doing just fine out here when it comes to that metric. The third thing that we take a look at, you can follow me around here, is hardwoods. Generally, the red-cockaded woodpecker recovery guidelines do not want you to have a whole lot of scrub oak hardwood in the system. In fact, they want it to be almost absent, and if it is here, it needs to be less than 7 feet. So this tree is definitely taller than 7 feet. However, the plan is somewhat flexible, and there's some language in the recovery guidelines that the U.S. Fish and Wildlife has put together that clearly states that scrub oaks are a natural part of the Sandhills community. Intrusions of scrub oaks, and you can have some in there. They actually produce hard mast for things like fox squirrels and stuff like that, so they have their place in the system. But if they're going to be out here, they should comprise about less than 10% of the basal area of the stand. So if you want to take a look around here, again, that habitat metric is definitely being met out here. There's not, you don't have 10% of the basal area in here comprised of oaks. So basically, this is, just follow me here, this is pretty much what we're going for. So when we talk about high quality foraging habitat, this is kind of what we're talking about. So I'll shut off and make a couple more videos. You're going to see some stands that do not look as nice as this, but our goal really is to get a lot of the other stands you'll see in these video series towards this type of condition.